For those of you that watched the first video knows that I left off with the exhaust to the turbo piping all tacked up and ready to pull back off, but kind of forgot about my waste gates. So I've got to add 2 waste gates. I had them already, but so that was yesterday. So today we're gonna pipe in these 2 waste gates. Just draw like a manifold. So if you bring your exhaust off of your manifold, and you want to bring a waste gate off of it, you do not want your waste gate to be 90 degrees off. So if you got your pipe coming down and you got a bend in your pipe, you want your waste gate to flow off of one of those bends. If that makes any sense to you. That's the way I've been told to do it. The waste gate will dump that extra exhaust a lot easier, more efficient if you come off the bottom of a bend. Or if you don't have a bottom of a bend to come off of, make the waste gate come off like a 45. Like that. Never come straight off. Never come straight off like that. This is where we left off on the last video. Popped up into the turbo flange. So yesterday I told you that this exhaust does not have to look good. You can use junkyard piping. So I went over to my scrap pile and I found a piece of, this is about 1 7/8. And that's about the same size as the waste gate. It's just scrap pipe, scrap exhaust. And I'm gonna be using this. I'll clean it up, but I'm gonna be using this to pipe in these 2 waste gates. So here we are under the car, and basically all my bends are too low for me to try to come off. I'm not gonna come off over here because I've got a waste gate to put over here. So I'm gonna be putting this waste gate on this side. And I feel like this is about my best area. The car, the bottom of the car is somewhere right in here at the oil pan. I'll tuck this up under here. The exhaust will be blowing out toward the wheel. And I've trimmed me off a short section of that pipe, cleaned it up with a tiger paw, and I got me a marker under here. So basically, I'm going to be coming off of about this angle, but this pipe has got to be coped to that angle when I fit it up here. And then I'll mark a short section of it and cut it off, and I'll have it all tacked on. I'll take the flange off the waste gate, which it's got a V-bang clamp holding it on, and I'll tack weld it on. But basically what I've got to do is cut the pipe at this same angle. And like I said before, I'm gonna be eyeballing it. It's about this angle right here. I'm gonna come in and draw a line. I'm gonna eyeball a line that's the same as this line. All right, so I've got the same size pipe here that I was using to plumb my exhaust up with. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this piece, and I've sit here and marked it. This is the line that I drew underneath there that I believed that it needed to be on. And I'm just gonna imagine that cut going all the way halfway down, and then I'm gonna draw this side too. And I'm gonna cut that out with my grinder. And I'm gonna test fit it here. before I get underneath the car. So after, I don't know, 10 minutes of sitting here grinding on this, I believe I've got it close enough to jump underneath here and test fit it. I really need to go over here and get some more carved off of this. So that's the fun about doing 10 minutes worth of work and then jumping underneath there, and well, it ain't gonna work at all. I got an idea what to do. So this is somewhat of a funky shape you end up with. That's the kind of a fit that I'm looking for. If I do that, but now I've got to shorten the pipe up as much as I can. I don't even have enough room to put it in there at all. Well, right there. Looks a lot better. I'm gonna take an inch off of it, see how it looks. So anytime you wanna make a nice square cut, getting the perfect line drawn around it is the most important part. It was underneath there. I said I'm gonna take about an inch off of it. Okay, so you get your, what's called a wraparound, and you line the edges of your wraparound up nice and square, and then put your mark right on the edge, and you mark around this. It's gonna be nice and square. If you don't have a wraparound, a lot of you have sandpaper, or an old belt sander. A nice square piece of paper even works. But what you do when you wrap it around it, you see how it's running off? Almost like a candy cane. You don't want that. You want these nice and square all the way around. You line them up. As long as it's overlapping perfect. That line will be, there's my mark. So I'll show you on my mark. That line will be perfect. Save you a lot of grinding. Nice and square. That'll save you a lot of time. So before I come out here, I decided, hey, this is where I want it. Probably a mistake. Right there is right where I want it. Looks like it's out of the way. Exhaust will be blowing straight down on the ground. So now what I gotta do is I gotta mark my pipe. I'm gonna mark this. Couple different places. And I wanna mark it around it. But since I got this piece made, I want to go ahead and go over here and see if I can find a good place for this one and mark it using the exact same size. I'm gonna have to make a couple phone calls and ask how close to the manifold I can get this and still be effective. So I've got it all marked. I'm going to drop the exhaust out, cut the holes, weld these pieces back on before I put the exhaust back up in. I got to make another one just like this.
That should be easy to do.
So I want to duplicate this piece that I'm making. Right there's where I gotta cut it. And I'm gonna take my finger and I'm going to do that outline on it. That's what I got to cut. I'm just gonna cut right on this line, right on the dirty finger mark. Probably be easier if I had my glasses on. So what I need to do is I need to get me a good square end. I know how to do that already. I need to show you all how good that other piece fits by doing this. I will show you. But I'm gonna go ahead and mark this one. I got off of my mark a little bit, but it'll work. What I was wanting to show you is how good this fits. Trying to. I mean, there's no gap in there because you took a little time to mark the pipe right and cut it, making it nice and square. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap this around. I could tape it on or whatever. Now I just need to mark it. Now I gotta cut the line, I gotta duplicate. You ever wonder why you do this stupid stuff? If I can go back and tell myself to go be a doctor or a lawyer so I can pay somebody to do this stupid stuff. So now I got a pair of them. Pull that exhaust off. Weld these on. Goodness. 2 V-band bolts and this thing should fall out. Well, I thought I was going to be making a lot shorter video. This video might be longer than the last one. Bear with me. We'll get there. I didn't think it was going to come out. I was about to panic. I got her. Good morning. Today's a new day. I had to quit yesterday. And got pretty late. I got pretty tired. Hurting. But anyways, I'm gonna deburr my pieces with a little bit of a deburr tool. I'm just gonna scrape on the insides of them. Oh, I just busted myself in the nuts. Dang it, that's a good way to start off in the morning. Got these pieces deburred. I'm going to go ahead and weld my V-band flange on, because when I put this on there, it'd be really tough welding this bottom side. So if I do it right here, it'll be nice and easy. Anytime I weld a stainless to a carbon, I use a 309 rod. You can use nickel, you can use whatever, but 309 is what I'm going to use. It's pretty darn crooked, but it don't matter. It's just a face gig. Number 2. So now I've got to cut the holes in the pipe. I'm going to take a drill and I'm going to drill with a cone bit, and then I'll go in with the air saw and I'll just cut out the hole. I'm starting to wake up. So we got our hole cut in it, the shape of the pipe. I'm just going to weld that on. We're back. It's a new day. Started welding without you. But anyways, I'll show you what I'm doing. It's pouring the rain, so probably really noisy. Kind of started welding and forgot to start filming. Down here on the collector, I'm not able to weld down in between these two pipes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and weld it up. On the outside, I'm going to weld all the way around as much as I can. So I welded as much as I can on the outside of it, like this. And I'm probably going to have to come in on these outside bolt holes with the grinding wheel, knock that off, because my bolt head won't fit flat down on it. So now I'm going to go on the inside. Right through here is what I'm talking about. I'm going to be welding this side and the other side. It's my first header I've ever built. Definitely not the prettiest, but got it done. Got this side welded up also. It's not the prettiest, but it's done. So now the collector is done. And I've only got about half of that pipe to weld up. I got her finished up, and it was rough on me. Very rough on me. But as soon as it cools off, we'll try it. Everything fit great. It's all welded up. I really expected it to be so warped that I wouldn't be able to bolt it back on, but it's not. And got the waste gate right here, pretty much right where I was wanting it, and this other one is coming off over here. Everything looks good. So I'm pretty much done, except for this little bit of body trimming that I'm going to do. I'm going to cut that out to make more room for my turbo getting in here and bolting it up and bolting it. That's about the only reason I'm doing that. But that's pretty much all of the fab work. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you all liked it. My next video is going to be tearing all this out, pressure washing, cleaning, and painting underneath the hood. So if you want to see more of that, tune in. And after we get it all cleaned up, we'll be throwing it all back in again. Thanks, guys.